Now, I'm a big fan of the moving pictures media. Film, cartoons, shows, anime, YouTube, all of it. Thomas and Friends is no exception. Used to be no exception. Now, this is no surprise to anyone, but my favorite character from Thomas and Friends is the one and only Diesel. Oh yes, the opposite of Thomas, the revolutionary himself. Before I get into why I love him so much, I have a confession to make to all of you. I used to hate Diesel. And I don't mean the type of hate when you fight with your friends or family and you say, I hate you, but you don't really mean it. I mean as in I wanted to beat the living crap out of him. Although that is probably not new to some of you because he is a total jerk. A funny one though. As a kid, my favorite characters were usually the main character. Mario, SpongeBob, Thomas, Optimus Prime. Who am I kidding? It's Bumblebee at this point. The unique thing about Diesel was that he was really the first ever villain the series had. I know we had the Troublesome Trucks and a few others, but Diesel was the first true villain that stayed in the series as a somewhat main character. I mean, when you think of villains in the Thomas series, Diesel has to be one of the first ones that you think of. Diesel 10? Nah, get out of here. Diesel is the true villain of the series. An interesting thing about Diesel was that when he first appeared, he wasn't like an anime villain who wanted to destroy the world. He was just an arrogant engine who believed that he was better than all the Steamies because he was the newest and hottest thing. That's right, he was the OK Boomer meme before that was even a thing. I mean, he was based off of the BR Class 08, which had a total of, oh, wow. That's a lot. Now, that doesn't mean that he didn't do any bad things because he obviously did. I mean, his nickname is literally Devious Diesel. Devious Diesel. I don't know how any controller of a railway could look at that nickname and think, that seems like a good engine that won't cause any problems at all. Like, at all. But even with the things that he did, that was nothing compared to Diesel 10 when he was first introduced in Thomas and the Magic Railroad. Or Sailor John in Legends of the Lost Treasure. Compared to them, he was kind of a loser, like Starscream. And no one wants to be like Starscream. But then, how did my feelings for Diesel change? Well, it was actually because of a few reasons, but the first one was because of his character development in the show. At the beginning of the series, Diesel had no redeeming qualities. He was an entitled character who was always doing whatever he wanted without thinking about the consequences. Just listen to his theme and you can already tell that this guy is bad news. He is as selfish as you can be. In a kid's show about talking trains, of course. But as the show goes on, you start learning more about him, and he goes from this arrogant person to someone who just wants to have fun. Of course, I don't condone the stuff he does, but you can see that he isn't always a bad guy. He can even be a nice character sometimes, like in the episode Diesel and the Ducklings. The episode shows how Diesel wants to be this cool and tough person when he's in public, but when he's alone, you find out that he actually really likes ducklings, but doesn't want to show it because he has to be this cold as steel person. And liking cute animals is the least cool thing you could do. He still has that selfishness that he had at the beginning, but it's definitely toned down. Now with all that character analysis stuff out of the way, let's get to the real reason why I love Diesel so much. I may hate on Mattel a lot, but the situations they put Diesel in is just amazing. Diesel is the kind of character that you can use in most redemption arcs, and so he is usually the show's default bad guy that becomes a good guy. Diesel's Ghostly Christmas is literally just a Christmas carol, but with talking trains. Even with that though, I can't help but love that Diesel is Scrooge. But it is a little unfortunate that even though he goes through all these redemption arcs to become a good person, like with most episodic shows, everything basically gets reset by the next episode. In The Great Race, the best part of the entire film was Diesel's Full of Surprises, which is an amazing song that I could listen to over and over and over and over again. Heck, I'll even listen to it in the shower. This song is great. Of course, who can forget the only good thing that Big Road Big Adventures ever gave us? Diesel's parody of their theme song. Brilliant. 10 out of 10. This should have been the main theme instead of what we actually got. But during this time, I still didn't think much of Diesel. Even though I subconsciously really liked him. That's why in a lot of my YouTube videos, you will see him appear to usually jokingly sing, "I'm full of surprises." I only realized that I really like Diesel when I asked one of my friends who watches my YouTube videos who his favorite character from my series was. This was a long time ago, but I still remember it. He said that his favorite character was Diesel just because he liked how the only joke I would ever use him for was to sing "I'm full of surprises." That is when I had an epiphany. I loved Diesel. No, he wasn't just one of my favorites. He was my favorite. The character that I once despised became the character that I always look forward to. It really is sad to see how the show is treating Diesel now, but even if it turns out to be the worst thing that has ever happened to the series, I will always remember why I love Diesel so much. Because he's a total jerk. A funny one though.
Not again! It's not fair! I can't do right even when I haven't done anything wrong! Well, not much. I'm full of surprises, they ought to say of me. I bring some razzle-dazzle to the rail. I'm full of surprises, as you can plainly see. I'm trusting my surprises to prevail. I hope this time being surprising doesn't fail. They used to call me